Joining me now, we have Bill Kerr, field geologist with Argo Gold Mines. Bill, nice to see you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, and I understand you're about to head up to the WOCO project, which is your flagship project.
Yeah, it's a property just east of Red Lake, and we're starting a 2,500 meter drill program about a week from now, a week and a half from now. So I'm going up a week early just to make sure everything is ready for it. It's a helicopter job, so we have to cut pads in advance and cut the water line in advance.
How long will that drill program take you to drill?
We're anticipating 30 to 33 days. It's 2,500 meters, probably 20 holes. We do have a little bit of, we got a heck of a good price on contracts with the driller and the helicopter company, so we might be able to squeeze in a couple more holes in our existing budget if we get good news, and so somewhere around 30 days.
Now I know Judy Baker for quite a while, and she's always been excited about this. Yeah. There's been some pretty high grade, quite high grade showings in the past.
Yeah. Grade is king. As far as I'm concerned, in gold mines, you need high grade, and the WOCO is certainly one of those. It there's multiple ounce assays over multiple meters, and the funny thing is, it's been a known surface showing since the 30s. I mapped the surface showing a couple of years ago, and it doesn't look all that much. It's 70 meters long. It's only about, at the widest point, it's 40 centimeters, the quartz vein, but it really opened up at depth. And it's one of those things that really did open. It was drilled in 93 and 94 by very famous Red Lake geologist Chester Curlew, and all kudos to him. He opened it up. He knew knew the plunge of it, the dip of it, and so we're drilling the first holes since back in '94, and just following up part of that system, and also some other parts of the system that we're really excited about.
Right, and you've got a few slides that we're gonna show here. Throughout this interview. Now there's four former mines not far away from.
Well, the biggest one is the Uchi Lake mine, and yeah, there's the Hinalda, the Jalda,
there we go.
There we go, and we're just on the south boundary. The WOCO prospect itself is about 1 kilometer south of the claim boundary. And
it looks like there's a line there.
Oh, it is. It is all major gold deposits, or certainly most of them I've ever dealt with, have in Canada are associated with some sort of break, a major break, like the Porcupine break, the main break in Kirkland, and we're similar here. We've got something called the Uchi break, and that is a controlling factor for all these deposits north of our boundary. And it's also what we feel is the controlling factor for where the WOCO is and where the North Gate is. And it's and when I get to the slides, it's grossly underexplored. We think that not only the WOCO has potential, but this whole Uchi break, it just opened up the whole strike length that we have right down to our south boundary.
So this is very early days for Argo and this project.
Yeah, it's extremely early. We was just picked up about three years ago by Delio Tortosa and Judy Baker, and field work was all done in 2017, and in 3 batches. I went in first and walked the claim lines and picked GPS the claim posts, and then found the WOCO trench and sampled it, stripped and sampled it. And then we went in again a second time and brought in a reflex crew to survey the old collars that were drilled by Chester, downhole survey, so we get better 3D image of the vein gold mineralization. And then the last time I went into Northgate for just a very brief period in the fall and sampled Northgate, because it wasn't, Judy picked it up later. So that's the only field work done to date.
How far is Northgate from
well, you can see on the scale on the map here, it's about just under 2 clicks.
Oh, okay.
2 clicks.
Okay.
And so the WOCO itself is a
north. So why do you call it different? I mean, is it that far apart that you have to call it a different?
Oh, they're completely separate showings. Yeah, the WOCO is oriented north-south. The North Gate,
different veins.
Completely veins. The North Gate's up to 4 meters wide, and the WOCO, which we're drilling on surface, is only 0.5 meter wide at the widest point.
But it opens it.
Yeah, we know the Argo opens at depth from the previous drilling. The North Gate was drilled by fellows in the 70s, or the 50s, I'm sorry, and also in the 30s, but we don't have much of the data. So we're going to pop 2 holes in the North Gate just to see what the drill core looks like, because none of this core has survived anything. Even the drilling in 93, 94 hasn't survived.
Yeah. Wow.
So yeah, if you just want me to go into the slides now,
let's do this. Okay.
Just the point. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay. The point of the slides is up to now, people look at Argo and obviously the flagship is the Woco, but hopefully I'll present that it's certainly much more than the Woco. We think there's a camp potential here. So this is
and you've got enough land here.
Oh yeah, we've got lots of land, and the critical thing is we control the southern extension of the Uchi Lake Uchi Break. So if we look at the this is a total field aeromag map here, and I'm not going to bother you with with technical things.
The different colors indicate more
magnetic. Yeah, and the reds are highly magnetic, and you see that line coming down just east of the Woco and down to the North Gate. Well, that's the projected Uchi Lake break, and that's the controlling factor for the mines to the north, and you can see it warps around, and the Woco and the North Gate are pretty well about 300 meters to the west of it, and we feel that they're both, something's popping out, mineralization there. And the reason it doesn't extend further to the southwest is no one's done any work on it. So we think it actually goes down further.
Okay.
This is when people look at the Uchi mine, because we're saying we're tied to the Uchi mine, and that's our model. And if you look at the bottom here, it says total production 750,000 tons. 114,000 ounces at a grade of 0.15. You're going to say, oh, so what?
Ounce per ton.
Ounce per ton. That's not very good. So the reason
it's like 5 grams.
Yeah. Okay. I'm a dome guy, so it's an ounce.
No. I'm trying to. I don't.
No, you're right.
I don't even know there's between a kilometer and a mile.
So anyway, if you go to the top line here, number 1 ore chute.
Yeah.
This is what they went underground on. That's 340 feet. Long by 28 feet, that's 9 meters, by 0.31 ounces a ton. So the question is, how come when you had this type of deposit and you only recovered 1.15, what went wrong? And there's articles in the literature about the fact that they bulk mined it. And this is a longitudinal section of the mine, and to just explain what happened. I have to go back to the Howie-Hasaga mine in Red Lake, which was the first bulk gold mines done in Canada. They were in granites, I think. And I should know because I actually drilled them in '95 for the federal government testing crown pillars, and there's some monstrous stopes. I think one of the stopes was 30 meters long. And they were mined by a fellow called Jack Hamill. And he made a lot of money. People didn't think he would do it. So once they were successfully, completed mining in the 20s,
right.
The next property he went on was the Uchi. And he did the same thing because he made his name for it. He's very famous. And he bulk mined the Uchi and took this 0.31. This is all that's left. We know this is the mine on, this is the zone on surface here. We know it's plunging to the south, but we're assuming it's gone down here. Just for purposes of argument, just this morning while I was waiting, I was looking for, if you took that, the tonnage here, 340 feet times 28 feet wide at 0.31, and you went down, the sort of standard rule in gold deposits is they go down 10 times the width on surface. So one might say that if this is 100 meters on surface, you can expect it to go down a kilometer. That's what Canadian gold Archean deposits normally do.
Okay.
So I went down 100 meters. I just went 100 meters across, 100 meters down. That at 0.31 is 75,000 ounces of gold. So something has gone wrong here with the mining. And the last thing I'm going to say about this, just to prove that this doesn't happen here, is I worked at Campbell Red Lake Mine.
Right.
I was resident geologist there from 80 to 87. Then I got transferred to a bigger office in Timmins. But right at 87, about 2 months after I left, at the time, Campbell was the highest grade mine in Canada. It was 0.62. Every year it was 0.62, 0.62. Produced somewhere around 200,000 ounces a year. Very steady. It was all cut and fill and shrinkage and high cost mining, but they had it there and their reserve always stayed the same. And when the merger happened, just after I left, there was actually it was a takeover by Placer Development. They have two beautiful deposits in Papua New Guinea, Porgera and Mazima, and they didn't have any money. So they ramped up production from Campbell and Dome, where I was then. They turned Dome into an open pit, and they turned Campbell into a long hole mine. And over the years, while I was in Timmins, I would, I still fawned for the Campbell. I would check on what was, what the production was, and the reserve was grossly dropping. It just went right down. And in about 6 or 7 years, I can't remember now, it went down to like 0.3, and then the 0.2s. So I called a shift boss friend of mine who had just retired, and I says, I can't make the numbers work. I mean, just because long holding, they're losing a whole pile of ounces. And what he told me then, he says, Campbell used to, you mine up. He says they'd go up to a new level and they'd start stoping across, and they'd see something in the hanging wall or the footwall, and they'd take it out. And Campbell was a very good mine. It had these high-grade rods of like percentage gold, and because they were so small, they couldn't drill to find them, but they just hit them. And as they'd go across, they'd see one, they'd slash it out. And what he told me was 35 or 40% of the ounces were in those rods. They were never on the books. You couldn't drill them. But when you long hold them, when you bulk mine them, you lost them. You left them in the walls.
Right.
So they turned Campbell into a low-grade mine, and eventually got bought by its partner,
Right.
Dickinson.
Right.
So this just isn't a Uchi thing. This is a high-grade gold mines need the right mining method, and if you get greedy, and it worked. I mean, from a shareholder perspective, they got Campbell up to 350,000 ounces a year, put Porgera and Mazima into production, and so going back to Uchi, I think that's the same thing here. You got a little bit greedy and turned this high-grade 0.31 ounce into a 0.15 ounce. And so our point is we're looking, this
Right.
is our model, this is our target, these
Sure.
types of things.
Okay.
Yeah. And just one more thing before I forget, let's see, the party wall, the boundary here north of Woko, all of the deposits north of here there's 60% outcrop. They're all outcrop, and it's very easy to find veins. When you're south of our thing, it turns into a bog. So this is all geophysically
How
interesting.
deep would that bog be?
Probably 20 meters or so.
Okay.
Anyway, it's not giant, but it's big enough that there's no trenches down here. I did find one trench right in our
But the
claim
bog
line.
doesn't stop you from drilling it, or
No, but what it does, it means that we can drill it, but you don't want to go prospecting with a drill, because that's expensive. And we know geophysics will help us a bit. We're considering geochemistry this summer to try to
Sure.
get a target there. We are drilling 2 holes here. Just east of the Woko, there's a little bit of a notch in the Uchi break, and that's, we think, is a pretty good drill target. Well, actually, it's on the map. We've got those 2 little stars.
Okay.
So, but that's not really prospecting a drill. We know where it is, but it'd be good to get one other thing of information, one other type of information. But that's it. So the whole point of this is it's not just the Woko. Woko's great. It's 2 and 3 ounces over a couple of meters in places, and we're going to drill down plunge of that, down dip. We're going to try to expand it. But to me, the gravy in this whole thing is this Uchi break, because we know it goes at least as far as Northgate. It probably goes further, and that is the camp style potential here. And the only reason no one's done any work here since '37, and the reason is this bog.
Yeah.
And it's not a killer bog. It's just
sure.
Yeah.
Makes it a little more difficult.
Yeah. You gotta think a bit, and it's always a second generation. Okay, if we want to drill that, we really should do some geophysics or do some geochemistry or some other method prior to drilling.
Right.
We're getting our feet wet now with this first drilling 2 holes. I'd love to drill a heck of a lot more holes on it, but we don't have the right. It's not justified.
Now, and the rocks here, I understand, are similar to the rocks that are at Great Bear.
It's the same generation of rocks. Yeah, it's what we called old guys called Cycle 2, which is the package in Red Lake. There's Cycle 1, 2, 3. In the old days, we used to say Cycle 1 was Campbell, Red Lake, and Dickinson, and Madsen, and things like that. This is Cycle 2. And so, yes, we are in the Cycle 2 package, the same as Great Bear. And they have a high-grade gold and covered by overburden. And it's the thing is, I mean, there's a reason we drill. And I used to be in uranium, and we say drill or die. You have to drill.
Yeah.
You can't intimate anything. You have to drill it, and you have to see it, and you have to do it. So that's the point we're at now.
Well, there you have it, folks. ARQ, Argo Gold, Bill Kerr's heading out to the property, tomorrow?
Tomorrow morning, yeah.
Tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And when you're done drilling, we're going to have a stock that's way through the roof. Anyway,
I hope so.
that's it.
Thank you.
So long.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.